Hey, this is your Seattle real estate update. I'm Kwasi with John L. Scott. Word on the street is that the market is cooling off, but most people are saying it like the market cooling off is a bad thing. That cool off has its advantages and disadvantages. The only reason that you are hearing about the disadvantages is because fear sells and it gets clicks. And let me give you the inside scoop, and then that way you can make a decision for yourself if you want to take advantage of this market or not. Interest rates rising has been another water cooler conversation that people are having not only in Seattle, but around the country. We will talk about how interest rates, inflation, and how they're related to each other, and what their impact will most likely be on the real estate market. This will lead right into the advantages and disadvantages and making the right decision for you, and not relying on headlines and clickbait to make a decision. So I'm gonna actually give you real estate news that you can use. Make sure that you stay up to date on what's happening in the market by smashing that subscribe button, click the bell to get the notifications. And with that, I'll start with a high level overview of the market and then dive into the Seattle stats. At any time, click on the chapters or minute markers to skip to the section that you wanna hear. And with that, let's get started. Interest rates are rising because the Fed is trying to bring inflation down. These rate hikes were steep and in quick succession, which is why it feels like the market cooled off really quick. Now, there is debate as to whether this will put us in a recession or we're already in a recession. And without getting super deep into it, let me just explain why you shouldn't be thinking that recession equals market crash. Take a look at this graph. Nationally, 4 out of the last 6 recessions, real estate prices actually appreciated, meaning they went up in value even though we were in a recession. What everybody remembers is when the market crashed in 2008. However, in the other recession where home values dropped, they only dropped less than 2%. If we look here locally in King County, the values only dropped in 2008. Last month, I shared that experts increased their home price predictions for 2022. Well, let's take a look at what they think for 2023. Most predict reasonable to modest appreciation, which is normal. We have seen double-digit growth, not just year over year, but sometimes month over month. And that just isn't a healthy market. Buyers basically waiving all their contingencies, bidding wars hundreds of thousands, if not over $1 million over list price. And that was our new normal for a while. And now we're just getting back to business as usual. So here's the scoop. For all the buyers who got fatigued with the bidding wars and how fast homes were selling, now is your time. Despite rates going up, right now you have more options with homes on the market. You actually have a chance to negotiate, get an inspection after mutual, refundable earnest money, and you get to keep your firstborn child. Sure, the downside that may be that your home doesn't appreciate tens of thousands of dollars in a month or two, but now you can actually buy a home that you want. Sellers who need to buy and sell at the same time. Now is the time, despite slowing appreciation and higher interest rates, you can actually get a contingent offer accepted. You can negotiate your purchase with an inspection, refundable earnest money, and on and on. And I know it would have been nice to sell at a premium price and get that buyer to give you the best terms ever, but for those who are buying their next home or need to 1031 exchange into something else a lot easier, this is your time. Especially if you're moving up in price, you're saving on that premium you would have paid on the new house. The other thing is that interest rates may not be as big as a factor as you think. I'm going to give you some high level strategies here. One is looking at adjustable rate mortgages or ARMs. I've heard of some great ARMs out there, and these are not ARMs from pre-2008 market crash. The reason this is a good option for you is you can get in at a lower rate now on a 5, 7, or 10-year ARM, which gives you more buying power and a lower payment now. Then, from what we know about recession is that mortgage rates will go down in a recession. So when rates drop, you refinance into a lower rate. Now, everybody's situation is different, so I'm saying have that discussion with your trusted mortgage advisor. Next, I'm going to jump into the Seattle stats and trends to show you what the market is doing on a local level. Stay with me. Okay, let's jump into Seattle area stats. I'm going to break down the single family market, condo market, luxury market, and new construction. I'll show you the stats for each of those markets, but focus the conversation on what I think are the things that people should know or how to use the information. So with that, let's get started. In the Seattle single family space, new listings are up 32% from last month and pending sales are down almost 10%. This is causing the number of homes for sale and the average days on market to go up. That combination month over month has caused the months of supply to go up and stay up. Right now we're at 2.1 months of supply, so barely hanging in there to technically be in a seller's market. Earlier, I discussed the advantages and disadvantages for both buyers and sellers. The good news is that home prices seem to not be affected by the cooling off of the market. Sure, prices aren't going up as fast as they were, but they aren't dropping. In fact, the median sales price in Seattle is now $890,000, where last year it was $828,000. In a shifting market, you want to keep your eye on the median sales price. However, the average sales price for houses in Seattle went up $103,000 from last year. So yes, interest rates and inflation are having their effect. But for those buyers and sellers watching this video, you know that you can get in now before rates drop and other buyers hop back into the market. Take advantage, man. Take advantage. Okay, after that 80s baby reference, I will jump into the Seattle condo market update. Seattle condo owners, please hear me. With inventory levels rising, you are close to being out of a seller's market. The months of supply has been hovering in the mid-2s. Anything over 2 months of supply is technically out of a seller's market. There hasn't been a ton of new listings, but the pending sales continue to drop and the average days on market is 29. As I mentioned earlier, in a shifting market, you want to keep your eyes on the median sales price, which for condos has dropped $11,000 in the last year. Now, that's not a steep decline. And with the months of supply hovering in the mid-2s, still a seller's market, I think it's just a matter of being aware. And if it's time to sell, making sure you are pricing it appropriately so you don't lose more money. With the median sales price of this market, I would make sure to highlight all available financing and down payment assistance options in your marketing, as well as find out if your condo complex has all of the available financing options that it needs. In the past few years, this hasn't really been a concern, but it will be a concern if the market and inventory continues to shift to a neutral market or even into a buyer's market. Just FYI, in Seattle, there's up to $55,000 in down payment assistance available, and every dollar counts in this market. Up next, we'll dive into the luxury market in Seattle. In the luxury market, inventory is continuing to skyrocket. For the last 4 months, inventory shows that you've technically been out of a seller's market and in a neutral market, which is normal. It just doesn't feel like it with the run our real estate market has been on. Even with inventory staying high, median sales price is up $9,000 over last year, and the average sale price is up $216,000 over last year. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The median sales price is what you want to look at in a shifting market, but good news is good news, especially with the ebbs and flows that the luxury market has had this year. Up next, new construction. You will want to hear how new construction is impacting inventory. Stay with me. Inventory is still the story in the new construction market. Inventory was briefly out of a seller's market, but has since dropped just below the threshold. What's even more impressive is that the median sales price is up $90,000 over last year, and the average sale price is up $169,000 over last year. Typically from here until the end of the year is when we will see new listings for new construction start to decline. So let's keep an eye on inventory and months of supply over the next few months. As long as new construction values continue to go up, that should be good news for the homeowners in those areas. Make sure that you stay tuned to this YouTube channel to stay up to date on what is happening in the Seattle new construction market. Next are some closing comments on how to use this information, as well as some free resources, and you won't want to miss it. Here is my take on this month in Seattle real estate. Sure, scary headlines get you to click, and big companies saying Seattle is the market that's cooling off the fastest, without telling you in the same article that we were also the fastest or one of the fastest growing markets for years and years. And they vaguely mention that Seattle is one of their top 10 migration cities. What about our job market and its diversity? And I could keep going, but let's just say that all you need to do is stay tuned, and I will give you the real estate news that you can actually use. And yes, I will give you bad news. There was some in this update, but it's not doom and gloom. It's just, how do I use this information? More inventory means more opportunities for buyers, sellers, renters, and investors. We are getting back to a normalized market, which is healthy. When you take into consideration what is happening with interest rates, inflation, what has happened previously in other recessions, you have to see that this time is different. One last graph to share with you, and it's an important one. Here is the biggest stat that you aren't hearing about, but has the most impact. We just don't have enough homes for sale. Look at how the market has changed, and yet most markets are still in a seller's market. With the forecast of rates going down in the next year or two, I really feel like we're gonna just see market normalization. This is also considering national stats. Seattle's been outperforming national stats and will most likely continue to do so. Our local economy and high-paying job market will most likely help continue the growth in the real estate market here locally. If you want these stats or free resources for your home search, preparing to sell, or you're interested in off-market properties, feel free to click the link in the description. Make sure to smash the subscribe button, like and comment what you thought about this video, or type any of your questions. Me and my team are always here to help. Until next time, peace.